Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed, highly favored.
I know that's right.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Same, man. Same. I really have no complaints. And the sun is shining. I'm good.
Yeah, and you're in DC, right?
So I'm actually in Cleveland right
Okay,
now. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, gotcha. So thank you so much for joining the show, joining the YouKnowDessie show. I really admire your work. I appreciate you. And so, it was an easy yes. It wasn't like you had to think about it or nothing like that.
Cool. No, I mean since the moment I met you a few years ago, Dessie, I'm like, okay, that's a cool brother who's up to really great things. So I'm just so honored to be asked and just happy to be talking to you today.
Well, that's great. So let my viewers know, about the Collective PAC and about you and kind of what you're doing, and then we can kind of go into, the importance of it being an election year and
Yeah.
importance of everything that you do as well.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So hey everybody, happy whatever day it is. It's hard to keep track these days. But I'm Stephanie Brown James, co-founder of the Collective, and actually it's an organization that I started alongside my husband Quentin James in 2016, because basically we just saw the need to support Black candidates running for office all across the country. So many times we see qualified, amazing, wonderful Black candidates that don't have the resources they need to run a strong campaign. They don't have the support they need on getting it early to
Mhm.
be able to have a strong campaign. And so we really created the Collective to be that support system for these Black candidates to
Yeah,
really help us build up that Black political power.
yeah, and that was how we initially connected through
Right.
a friend of mine, Oscar Joyner, and
Yeah.
told me about an event that I believe y'all had at Howard, and and the success of it. And
Mm-hmm.
from there, I know you guys were going to do an event with Angela Rye, and so he
Right.
in to help get the venue and do some marketing and different things like that.
Yeah.
So it was definitely an honor to be a part of such a great event, and we also raised quite a bit of money too here in Dallas.
Yeah, we did. It's funny how you said it so nonchalantly, like, oh, helped pull together this event. I mean, that was one of the best events that we had. I mean, we had over 100 of people that were in attendance, and that's all due to you and Oscar and the host committee pulling it together. At that point, it was in support of Colin Allred,
Yeah.
who was running for Congress, who's now the congressman from the area. So I just want to again say I appreciate you for not knowing much about us, but coming
Yeah.
on and pulling everybody together.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about me. Like I know what I don't know, and I know
Hmm.
how to partner with people that do know. And
Yeah,
so that's why I always try to support and use my influence for worthy causes and things like
right,
that.
right,
So it's
right.
no problem supporting you guys, and I've sent several people your way, that have told me that they wanted to run for office and different things
Yeah,
like, hey, you need to make sure you go to the website. This is what you need to do, just to try
appreciate
to
that.
do my part.
Yeah, because it is about the collective. It's important that people understand that if these Black candidates don't get the support of the community,
Yeah,
oftentimes they can't be as successful as they need to be. And if I'm in Cleveland or DC or LA, I should care about who's running for office in
yeah,
Dallas and in Atlanta and Milwaukee. It takes all of us to pitch in to make sure that we're helping each other build power and to elect the right people, because clearly, as we've seen during this corona crisis, it's
yeah,
important who you elect. So we're trying to make sure we get the right folks who know our communities in office.
absolutely. So can you talk about some of the candidates that you're currently supporting and who we need to know about, whether that's in Texas or overall, or anything like that?
I have to tell you, one of the candidates that sticks out to me the most, who is so exciting. Actually, there's two I'll talk about. One is Jamie Harrison. If you don't know Jamie Harrison, check him out. Jamie. Jamie. He is running for Senate in South Carolina
Okay,
against Lindsey Graham. And if you know
okay,
anything about Lindsey Graham, he's a
mm,
hot mess. He does not represent the best interests of South Carolinians, which is where my husband is from. And
gotcha.
literally, Jamie Harrison can be the next senator, one of a handful of Black senators that we've ever had in history.
Mm,
And he can help the Democrats flipped the Senate, which the presidency is very important, but a lot of decisions happen or don't happen because of the Senate. So definitely he is a huge candidate to support. I would also say Jackie Gordon. She is a Black woman who's a veteran who's running in upstate New York for Congress.
Okay.
Jackie is a first time running for office. And what we saw in 2018, especially with a lot of Black women who have all this talent, you know, all this knowledge, is they said, hey, I'm going to step up and represent my community in Congress. And so Jackie Gordon is another person I think people should have their eye on.
Okay, and that's really great because, you know, just doing the event with you guys and going through your website, you learn about a lot of people and, you know, in different areas as well, whether it's an election or, you know, or something like the presidency. But it's because, like you said, it's very important to know what's going on locally because that impacts your community directly, you know.
For sure. Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, whenever I turn on the news and I just look at what decisions are being made around Corona and COVID, it just crystallizes to me the importance of having the right people in office. Yeah. Because, you know, you have people in office who don't have the community's best interest in mind, but they're thinking about their own financial gain. You know what I mean? And so it's important that, again, no matter where you are in the country, you should be concerned about politics across the board because it will, in some shape, form, or fashion, on a daily basis, impact your life.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about, you know, even them opening some of the states back up, like Georgia back up first. They opened Texas back up first, and you know, when they don't have our urban communities in mind, it's definitely hurtful.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm actually doing an event with Pull Up Neighbor. So we're partnering to do an event on May the 30th in Dallas, where we're going to give away free masks to those in the urban communities, and then we're also going to try to drop some off at some nursing homes and drop some off at some shelters because those kind of forgotten people in all of this.
Yeah. And it's funny because I saw a post yesterday that said, you know, if the White House isn't open for tours, if your governor's mansion isn't open for tours, and if your governor is saying, oh, I'm not going to send my kids back to school, then, you know, we should kind of take that stuff into consideration. So why are you making all these decisions for our communities, but you won't do it for yourself? To me, that's a sign of a bad leader. If they themselves won't take the own pill that they're trying to prescribe to the community. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and they were kind of saying the same thing. Like, if these CEOs of some of these companies, if they're so comfortable with their workers going back to work, then why don't they come to the factory? Even if they can't physically do the work, they can at least freedom. And, you know, if it's safe, then they should just at least be on the front line with them.
They should be standing side by side with their workers. And if they're not, then that should tell you something.
Right. So, so how do people really get involved? I know obviously it's donations and events, but how has that been affected with the pandemic? Because, you know, you can't get out and do as many events as you normally.
Yeah. I mean, I think for a lot of us, especially those that are focused on like voter registration activities right now, you know, one of the things that we've had to do is completely go virtual and trying to figure out, like, what does that look like to encourage people to register to vote virtually? And so we're actually in a couple of weeks getting ready to launch our Vote to Live campaign, which is an initiative to encourage Black people to register to vote. Yeah. You know, one of the things that we saw in 2016 is there was a small margin of victory that Donald Trump had to win. Yeah. And if you break down those numbers, if we would have got more people registered to vote and turn out that were progressive or Democrats or whatever you want to call yourselves, he would not have won, you know. And so for us, you know, we're really working to make sure we can connect with like traditional organizations in our communities, the fraternities, sororities, encourage them to talk to their members about registering. We're talking to Black churches. We're talking to like Black professional networks. So all of that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks around Juneteenth, actually. Okay. And also, I just want to say, like, a special piece of that is we're going to really focus on Black men. Okay. Because, you know, we hear a lot about Black women being the highest, you know, a voter turnout, folks, in every election.
Yeah.
We got to make sure that we are talking to Black men about the issues they care about and why it's important for them to, come out and vote in strong numbers too.
Yeah, well, definitely know how I can be involved and how I can be
I'll be calling you.
Okay.
I'll be calling you. Ain't got to worry.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it is very important to not only, find out if you are registered, where you're registered at,
Exactly.
Status, because,
Yep.
even what is it, when you're not ineligible to vote, but it's like suspended or something because they may not.
Purged. Yeah, they'll purge you from the voting rolls. So
Yeah.
if you haven't voted in like a certain number of elections, some states are pulling you off. They're saying, oh, maybe they passed away or whatever have you. And it's like, no, maybe something happened and you didn't vote the last 2 elections. That doesn't mean you don't want to vote now. So you got to make sure, you're checking your voter registration status. A lot of states are going to be voting by mail, so you got to make sure you're requesting your ballot and what that process is. So a lot of what we're going to be doing is strictly around education, so people know what they need to do to get ready to vote.
Yeah, and the education piece is very important because people don't know when they need to be registered by. They don't know how to go about the process. As you said, if people are going to have to do mail-in this year, we have to really be careful with that too, because we don't want, them not to count our votes,
Exactly. Which we know it's already hard. They're making it hard already to exercise your right to vote. So we have to make sure that we're educating our folks so they know that the process can be easier than what you think it is, and that it's your decision to participate in it. And the reality is, listen, for folks that are saying, oh, I'm not going to vote this year, you not voting is a vote. It's a vote against your own self-interest. So try to figure out, these are the issues that matter to me. These are the people that are speaking my language who I think can make, positive change in my community, and exercise that right to vote, because it really does impact your day-to-day life.
Yeah, and how did you feel about the Diddy statement? Because I felt like it was an incomplete statement. Like, I understand what he was trying to say, but now it's like we're trying to get everybody together to support Biden.
Bro, I mean, again, I do appreciate the spirit of what he said. I appreciate the spirit behind people that are saying, hey, Biden owes us this, he owes us that. I understand all of that. I don't disagree. However, I would say that this is an election, as I think with most elections, this is an election that we don't have the choice to not vote, to not participate. We saw what happened when droves of us, especially Black folks, didn't vote in 2016. Again, their choice to not vote was actually a vote for Donald Trump. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, there's other ways that you can push for policies to happen in your communities, but you got to be able to have the right people in office first to even get policies passed that will actually help your communities. Like, without the people in place, you can't get the policies that you need that's going to help you and your family.
All right. So I see somebody posted in here. Does the voting process really work because they don't trust it? How do you respond to someone that says something like that? Because there's always been that conspiracy theory among.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I understand it. I think I can't help but go back to 2016 and just really look at, you have literally Milwaukee, or you have Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. We're literally the 3 states that decided the presidency.
Yeah.
And when I look at, like, there is a system that's working.
Yeah.
Whether we get in it or we don't get in it is our choice. Yeah. And the system can only work as good as the people that are working within that system.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing to work within that system to make it better, to make it fair, to make it work for my people, because I know that the process that America has in electing who gets in office to create policies for me goes through that process. So, I'm choosing to be engaged as much as possible and try to get other folks engaged. I'm not saying it's a perfect system, because nothing is.
Yeah.
But it won't be made any better by us sitting out and not doing anything.
Yeah, and at times I feel like we got lulled to sleep once Obama got into office. Like, it was kind of like we got him in there.
Like, it was easy. Yeah, right. Easy breezy. And it's like, nah, you got to keep pushing, because even once the people that you really support and you down for and you push for them to get elected, even once they get in office, now the hard work comes in saying, okay, you got there. Now, listen, these are the things that we need you to do for us. Like, you see, we need more money for public schools. You see, we need more job opportunities for young people. You see, we need better roads.
Yeah.
These are the issues I need you to focus on because the community is asking you to do it because we put you in office. You know what I mean? It's like, why would I show up to somebody's job that ain't paying me? Like, listen, if I'm paying you through my votes, you know what I mean? Like, I'm giving you my support. I am now asking for a return on my investment in you to do what needs to be done to better my community.
Okay. And how do you feel about, because things have changed now. You don't have traditional politicians like you used to. Now there are some, you know, that are just using their celebrity influence, you know, to get into politics. So how do you feel about, you know, those cases? Because I've started to see ex-music artists. I've started to see you know, you've always.
I wonder who.
But I'm saying you all over the place, right?
Yeah. You know what? I'm one of those people who are, you know, I feel like if you have a genuine passion for service and for helping your community and you have a plan of action, once you get in office, you know, this is what my agenda is based off of the feedback that I've gotten from my community. This is how I'm going to build bridges with different groups in my community to make sure that, you know, everybody's voices. Like, if you're able to do that, okay, I'm gonna give you a shot. You know what I mean? But you have to have like a thought and agenda of like what you want to do. You know, like you have to also have like good morals. You know, exhibit like, you know, you ain't just out here in the streets crazy, but like, you know, you got to have something to you, and I'm gonna at least hear you out. Because like again in 2018, I mean, we saw teachers, nurses, business people running for office that had for Congress and winning, and they had never run for anything before. But you know, they were smart, talented. They were able to create networks and bridges with community organizations and people, and you know, they got elected.
So before I get you out of here, I know I don't want to take up all your day, but before I get you out of here, how do you, I guess, determine, is there, what's the process if someone wants to run for, whether that's city council or, you know, or something, you know, higher than that? What's kind of the process for the collective to get behind them and support them?
Well, the first thing is I would encourage folks to go to collectivepac.org, where you're going to learn more information about our organization. But on there's also an opportunity for you to get a questionnaire, a candidate questionnaire, to basically give us a background understanding about you and your campaign, the issues you care about. Because again, you know, we are an organization that supports Black candidates solely. And so we want to make sure that, you know, you have like a lens in place that's for the upward mobility and progress of Black people. And so, you know, do you believe in public school education? You know, do you believe in expanding, you know, opportunities for access for everyone? You know, that kind of stuff. We'll ask you that. And so that's kind of like the first place to start. I do want to say that now with our civic engagement campaign, you know, the collective, we support candidates, but we also have nonprofit work that we're doing too, nonpartisan work to make sure we can get, you know, folks engaged in the elections and stuff too. So we're trying to be as well-rounded of an organization as possible.
Yeah, and that's really good. And how do you respond when, you know, sometimes they say candidates shouldn't accept money from PACs and things like that, and how do you kind of combat that?
I mean, if you're a Black candidate, you better. I think it depends on who the PAC is, but like oftentimes, you know, especially when it comes to Black women running for office, we are like 10 times getting the less amount of donations for our campaign. So we're trying to, through the collective, help give an extra leg up to these wonderful, amazing Black candidates like Stacey Abrams. We were one of the first people to donate to her. Now she's a household name. You know what I mean? Maybe a VP pick. You never know. And so it's like, we are there to help infuse you with support and money early as a Black candidate so that you can at least start on more of an equal footing than the people that you're probably running against.
Gotcha. So thank you so much for being on this.
Thank you, Dessie.
Is there anything else you need to leave people with or anything like that? I know you said that that people need to definitely make sure they're registered, and we're going to be working together on that. You know, what is it? Live?
Vote to Live. Yep, it'll be launched next month. I think the last thing I would just say is, you know, voting starts at home. And so making sure that the folks just in your own network, like your parents, your cousins, your fraternity brothers, like making sure that your own people are, you know, registered to vote and turn out. If everybody did just that and looked at, okay, who are the 7 people closest to me? Let me make sure that they're good. If we multiply that, I mean, collectively, we could be so powerful. So I just wanted to say thank you, Dessie, for using this platform on issues to talk, you know, to talk about issues like this is so important. And I'm just grateful to be on with you today.